There is power in personal stories. It connects us, it empowers us, and it holds us accountable. It creates understanding and expands our perspective. This is Big in the Community with Jonathan James at the Kalamazoo Promise, a podcast aimed to highlight local leaders, collaborators, and innovators in the greater Kalamazoo community. All right, here we are again, another episode of Big in the Community. We have someone, I don't know, I want to say almost like a celebrity. When she walked in, everybody's like, hey, beautiful, how you doing? But yeah, Big in the Community. Thank you for being here. Our wonderful guest, Andrea Page. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Well, it's an honor to be here, Jonathan. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Andrea Page. I am the Assistant Director of Internships at Western Michigan University, where I am housed in Mayor's Take College in career and student employment services. And like I said, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So how long have you been working like in your field, so to speak?
So in my field with internships, it's been 2 years exactly. So I'm going to go chronologically backwards.
Okay.
So it's been 2 years at Western. Before that, I was a campus director for Ross Medical, and I did that for 2 years. Before that, I was an instructor, a medical assistant instructor, and I taught for 14 years at Everest, Career Quest, Ross, and KVCC as an adjunct professor. And before that, I have been a certified medical assistant / LPN for 35 years now, ever since my math may be off, so I shouldn't have said how many years, but ever since November of 1990 is when I graduated. And so doing that, part of my career in the medical field, I worked in the float pool, and I floated to breast health, working with a breast surgeon, Dr. Nancy Kalinowski. And when I worked with her, I felt that breast health was my passion. And so doing that, working with the radiologists, with mammograms, identifying and helping the radiologists as they identified positive breast cancers and navigating the patient's care from there, going into surgeries with Dr. Kalinowski, I noticed that there was not necessarily a social worker for breast health. So that prompted me to go back to school and get a degree. So I do have a bachelor's in family life education. And so from there, when I wanted to work in social work at the hospital, by the time I finished, you needed a master's degree in social work to do it. But that's okay. I continued to teach. I love teaching. And then that's when I was asked to be the campus director. And so as a campus director, from there I was recruited to Western to be the assistant director of internships. And this job is just such a blessing to me. There's a scripture that says the Lord will do exceedingly above all that you can ask or think. And that's what I feel when I think about my job.
That's good. See, I purposely skipped saying a quote at the beginning of the episode. We normally always say a quote because I already knew you were going to hit us with something that just you would take away. So I'm gonna kind of let you lead this one, having to do with Broncos lead.
Okay. All right.
No, but so you talked a little bit about your academic career. Were there any experiences or any things that kind of guided you to where you are now?
So, yes, being a campus director, you work in admissions, career services, you are an instructor. So when I was the campus director at Ross, we had veterinarian assistant classes, pharmacy assistant classes, medical assistant classes, and medical administrative assistant classes. So if an instructor didn't show up, of course, the campus director is the sub. So I've learned a lot in different areas where my degree was not at. But I also was able to connect with the community to make sure our students were placed at an externship. From Ross, it's an externship. And so I was able to build a lot of relationships with community partners to be sure that our students had the on-job experience that they needed to be successful once they graduated. And that really set me up for my job/career at Western Michigan University.
That's good. So we were both part of Leadership Kalamazoo.
Yes.
The best class ever, 2024.
Yes, 2024 cohort.
And we're going to keep saying that until somebody proves us wrong. So,
and they're not.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad for, certain people who might come after in the following class, but, a lot to live up to.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of side eye. But anyway, we talked about strengths in Leadership Kalamazoo.
Yes.
How do you believe your strengths tie into the work that you do?
Well, when I completed the Clifton Strengths Assessment, I did it because, they said, this is something that you do when you work here. I had never been introduced to it before WMU. And when I got my results, I was just taken back at how accurate they were. And my number one is belief. And so that is so me. So my top 5: belief, responsibility, connectedness, relator, and communication. And all that is just who I am. And you need all of those strengths to do what I'm doing. I am so excited about my job because I consider myself a bridge and a connector between our WMU students and the Kalamazoo community. And now we've expanded to Grand Rapids and Detroit. So I am a bridge and a connector between all of those communities and our WMU students. And all of that aids to their success. So my strengths, they really work well with what I'm doing.
It's good stuff. So can you tell us a little bit more about Broncos Lead and how that started and
yes,
the history, the impact, all that?
Yes, the Broncos Lead paid internship program, that's my baby. So it derived from the Empowering Futures gift, which was the $550 million anonymous donation given to Western about 3.5 years ago. From that generous donation, Western, we've created 9 holistic initiatives for students, and one was a paid internship program. So when I was hired in November of 2022, it was just an email, and I had the task of, by May 1st, placing 100 students in an internship. There are certain employer types that we target: minority-owned businesses, small businesses, nonprofits, and new startups. So first, I needed to recruit the businesses, the employers, community partners for the students to intern at. But when I started, it was not even a name. So we put a bid out for students to a contest to come up with a name, and we landed with Broncos Lead Paid Internship Program. And then I just went out into the community and recruited, set up all types of meetings, webinars, just to let the community know about the program. And how the program works is the students are employed by the employer. And at that time, the students were getting paid $15 an hour. And they were employed by the employer. All onboarding was made by the employer. It was through the employer. Whatever they needed to complete the internship, it was provided by the employer. However, Western reimburses the employer the wages paid plus 7.65% payroll tax for each student. The students work 12 weeks, up to 20 hours per week for the employer. So that was the first part. And then the second part, I wanted to incorporate professional development workshops for the students ongoing during the internship program. So every other week for 2 hours, the students would come on campus to professional development workshops that they were paid for, and it is a requirement of the program. Some of our workshops, Clifton Strengths, we pay for them to take the Clifton Strengths assessment, and they have a presentation. We have DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI and DEI disability, teamwork, employer etiquette, and financial literacy. And then at the end, each student is to complete a 2 to 5 minute video presentation, which they send us a script, submit a script to me and my team, and then we edit it, and then we record and edit the videos, and we give them a copy for their portfolio, and we keep a copy. Since the initial launching of the program, now the pay is $17.50 per hour, and we've also incorporated an additional professional development workshop, AI in the workplace.
Wow. This sounds real comprehensive.
Yeah.
Sounds like I should have done it when I was in school. As far as students, how do I know, like if I'm a student at Western, how do I know if I could be part of this program?
So students that are eligible are just rising sophomore on up to PhD students with a 2.0 GPA, which every student should have higher than a 2.0 GPA. So an incoming freshman would not be able to complete the program. They would need to complete their freshman year. And then right after that summer, they can start right into the program. And Broncos Lead is just one internship program. At WMU, at Western Michigan University, we are looking for internships for all as our focus. We feel and want, and our goal is for every student to experience a paid internship. That is very important. Statistics show that over 75% of students that complete a paid internship, they are hired in their major, hired in a career that focuses on their major. So internships are very, very important.
Yeah. So this ties into the whole experiential learning that Western has. And it sounds like by the time they finish, they know what they're going to do. They have at least an idea of what day-to-day would be like. When you make those relationships with other organizations and businesses, how do you establish those?
So when I first started out, the first thing I did was I contacted the Northside Ministerial Alliance, and I presented on their platform, which was awesome because it's not just churches on the north side. It's so many different organizations in the Kalamazoo community. United Way was on that particular call because it was a virtual platform. United Way, the Mission, it was just so many different organizations that I was able to talk to about the Broncos Lead paid internship program that qualified for it. And so from there, we have placed interns at United Way. We've placed interns, so many different community partners. We have over 70 community partners in Kalamazoo alone. Plus now we've expanded to Detroit and Kalamazoo. Some of our community partners are the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. Like I mentioned, United Way. We have Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra, Stahlberg International, Kalamazoo Art Institute, Institute of Arts. Just so many, the Nature Center, Hamilton Law. We just have so many, and that is so important because we try to hit all majors. And so I met with the history department, and they were saying sometimes it's very difficult for history majors to locate paid internships. So I did develop a relationship with Tillers International, and we have a history major student there helping them create a museum.
Wow. Well, that ties into the next question. So have there been any specific success stories or moments that stood out to you as far as students in the program?
So all of them are a success to me. So and I'm so very proud of each one of our students. But that's a hard question because I'm serious. All of them are such a success. I will say that that first summer that we launched, May 2023, we did place 90. I was able to place 90 students, and out of that, 20 students were hired in full time from the place they interned. Wow. And so I think that's a great success story that those students were able to continue on. Room 35, Donovan McVeigh. There's a student that she interned the very first summer, May 2023, and now she's like the office manager. Wow. And she's still there. And her name is Gloria Park. And I think that is a success story, but we have many stories like that. Some of the interns that were able to be hosted in Detroit, they were great success stories. Umoja debate team, Juwan Howard is an alumni of WMU, and he was able to host 5 interns for his debate team. And, we do site visits. So we went to Detroit, we traveled to Detroit, and we did site visits. When I say we, Mo Brooks, he is the internship specialist. He is student facing. And so we traveled to Detroit to do site visits, to see the interns in the venue that they're working in. And it was just such a wonderful, rewarding delight to see that. And it's just priceless. It really is experiential learning.
That's awesome. Shout outs to Mo Brooks. Go Giants. We went to the same high school.
Yes.
So how do you see this program benefiting not just Western students, but also the whole greater Kalamazoo community?
One of the things that the Broncos Lead Paid Internship Program is doing, it is allowing students to experience Kalamazoo. And so most of the students are not from this area, but because of this internship program and because these students are able to experience the different businesses and different companies in Kalamazoo, that is prompting them to stay. After graduation, they stay in Kalamazoo. I remember the first summer, May 2023, our students, the Broncos lead students, they participate in the intern mixers with Southwest Michigan First. And one of the mixers was at a Growlers game. So I kept saying, who wants to go to the Growlers game? Who? And then one student raised their hand and said, what's the Growlers? Because I forgot that like 90% of the students were not from Kalamazoo. But, they participated in that internship mixer, all 3 of the activities that was offered to them. And because of that, they had a chance to experience Kalamazoo even further than just their internship that they were provided. So it gives them exposure to Kalamazoo. And once you're exposed to something, that's all it takes. And so the students want to stay in this community, and this is a great community.
It is.
And I'm from, Kalamazoo Central, go Giants. So.
Yeah, go Giants.
Just saying.
Also go Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
So more so you. What motivates you in your work, especially when it's supporting students, finding them internships, building their career skills? What is it that just makes you wake up and say, I'm going to do my best every day?
So, like I said, I feel that I'm a bridge and a connector between the different communities, but the Kalamazoo community and our WMU students. And their success is my goal. That's all of our goal. Everyone that works at Western, our goal is the success of our students. That's our common goal. But one thing that I like to say is people who love to cook, their food tastes better. So I love what I'm doing. And so that means that it works out so well. I don't feel like I'm working. And so if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. And so every time I show up to my office, which is decorated impeccably, I don't feel like I'm working at all.
That's awesome. You just dropping some gems in here. But how would you let's see. No, you already answered this question. I'm not even
Okay.
going to say it. So this is looking at Kalamazoo, the greater Kalamazoo community.
Mm-hmm.
If you could change one thing about the greater Kalamazoo community, what would it be? There's no limits to what you can do.
Oh, man, no limits. I would find a way for all of the students coming from a different community to be exposed to this wonderful community. Kalamazoo is just outstanding. And I have been in Kalamazoo my entire life. I was born and raised in Kalamazoo. And there are so many wonderful, wonderful things, benefits, attributes, opportunities in Kalamazoo. And like I said earlier, exposure is key. And I just wish that every student that comes from out of town, out of state to Kalamazoo, to WMU, just to Kalamazoo, if they could just get a tour, a history tour, and just exposure, they will stay. They will stay. The population will grow.
I agree. I like that answer. That I'm not gonna say it's the best answer because I don't want to make anybody
It's
upset.
the best answer, just
Okay,
like cohort 2024 is the best.
No, that's. I think that's it's as simple as that. Just show them what we have. Yeah. Where do you see the future of Bronco Leads?
Oh, I see it expanding just like within 1 year, like from one summer to the next summer, it expanded beyond the Kalamazoo community. So initially, Broncos Lead was just supposed to be a summer internship program. And so by the end of summer 2023, oh, this is going so well, let's do it in the fall. So then we did it in the fall, scaled down to 25 students only locally in Kalamazoo. From there, spring. All right, so spring, 25 students locally. From there, okay, Kalamazoo, Detroit, and Grand Rapids. From there, who knows where it will go. Right now, we place 150 students within a year. I see that growing. I see the communities that we reach out to growing. I see it expanding. And then we want to have internships for all. Yes, Broncos Lead is our diamond internship program at Western Michigan University, but we want internships for all. We want experiential learning for all.
Now, is there kind of like how we have a Leadership Kalamazoo alumni network? Is there one for Broncos Lead?
Not as of yet. So that's a great idea. But I do want to put together like some type of picnic or some type of gathering that we can have for the students. Because even if those students that have graduated have left the community, that will bring them back. I want the students to come back to Kalamazoo.
And then see the other students that stayed.
Yes. And one of the things that we do is we do utilize students that have successfully, which all of them have successfully, but successfully completed the Broncos Lead program internship program to talk and speak to the students that are in it right now. And so that's something that during the professional development workshops, we would like student ambassadors to speak to the students. Yeah. There's
something to that near peer experience where it's like, oh, okay, I see myself becoming this person that's only a couple years ahead of me.
Exactly. And that's why Juwan Howard with the Emoja debate team, he is just such a success because he just recently graduated. And then Shiante Hamilton also is an alumni who just graduated, and she hosts Broncos Lead students also, Bronco Lead internship students, and she's hired some Broncos Lead internship students. But the one problem that we have with Broncos Lead, if I have to say anything, and it's not really a negative, is the students can only participate in one semester because we have to make room for others to participate. And they hate that. They always say, can I just do one more time? And the employers want the students to experience it more, but they understand that we need to make way for other students to experience it too. And so, yeah, if I had to say anything, it would be that, which that's not a bad problem to have.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it could be even bigger than it already is.
Oh yeah, it's growing,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, I hope it continues to grow.
Yes,
I do.
Thank you.
So what are some of your favorite things about Kalamazoo, and what are some of your favorite things about Western?
Some of my favorite, I'll start with Western. Some of my favorite things about Western is how we all come together for the success of the students. That is so awesome to me, that when you have a team and the team keeps the common goal in mind, that is so important, because there's no I in team. And so it takes the community, it takes the team. And one person may see a need that another may not see, but once it's brought to the table, then everyone addresses it and we handle the need for the better of the student. And so I love that about Western. What I love about the Kalamazoo community is it is encouraging, like everything is to help one another. That's why downtown is growing, so that we can help, so that we help small businesses, so that we help nonprofits, so that we help minority-owned businesses. I'm in the master's program right now to get my master's degree so that I can do more to help the community. So I think that we are a community, and that, you know, you can say community and not be one. But I do think in Kalamazoo, we really are a community, and I love that. And we celebrate each other.
There's a lot to be said about community. There's even smaller communities within Kalamazoo, and really that collaboration between all of us is what makes us a community.
Yes.
Oh, this is good stuff. I'm taking mental notes. I'm over here like, okay, this is how you say that. Every guest I have has some wisdom to share,
Yes.
but I knew this one would be special, so I'm gonna just say that.
Oh, thank you.
What advice would you give students or recent graduates looking to build a strong foundation for their careers? What advice would you give them?
Okay, this is going to sound very elementary, but before the students, once they have been accepted by an employer, they have to participate in an orientation for the Broncos lead. And I give every cohort the same advice, and this is it. And it's very elementary, and it's talking about manners. I think when we were sequestered in, our social lives and our communication was online or with a phone or with texting, and we just did not have human contact except our families. And so manners may have gotten lost. And that is so important. Please, thank you. Good morning. Have a good day. If you are texting someone, not starting the text off, hey, such and such, or starting the text off with a sentence as if you had been talking to that person the whole time. Just simple things like that. We have evaluations that the students fill out on employers and that the employers fill out on the students about 5 weeks in. And most of the things, good things that the employers say about the interns basically boils down to the students have good manners. And so they don't say good manners, but the things they're describing is good manners. And so I think that is a valuable jewel that people don't realize how valuable it is. And so good manners go a long, long way. And in society, you will stand out.
Okay, I got a follow-up question. What extracurricular activities do you think would look good on a resume for young students?
I think any involvement that they are in, like if they are in a RSO or a student organization, if they've led something, we have a program actually at Western called Signature where they can pull out one great thing that they've done and focus on it. But like, for example, in our professional development workshops, the AI in the workplace, that presentation, they receive a certificate. They should put that on their resume. So I think it's important to put extra activities on a resume because it allows employers to see that this person is well-rounded. If you are only focused and you only have one thing on your resume, then anybody can focus on one thing. But if you can focus in many areas, that shows that you're well-rounded, you're stable, and you can still get things done.
This is good stuff. I don't know, I'm trying to think of other questions to ask that I might help with my resume. Okay, if you had a jewel of wisdom that you wanted to share with someone who is trying to follow in your footsteps, what would that be?
Keep the Lord first. The Lord is my entire life. And without him, I can do nothing. Every time I get it right, it's because of him. So that would be my total advice. The other thing is the things that I've done in church, that's on my resume. So I have been the president of our hospitality department for 15 years. So that means anytime we host other churches or anything, I order the food, I set up the decorations, I do all of those things. And those are skills that if I was an event planner major, I would put on my resume. I am also the health programs and policy director for our jurisdiction, which entails 26 churches in multiple cities in Michigan. That goes on my resume. So I think that you may work in the church or somewhere else where it's work and you may not be getting paid. It goes on your resume.
So eventually you'll be getting paid for it in a way to speak. I had a question. I lost it. It's gone. Wow. Okay. I should have wrote it down. So how can other organizations or community members get involved with Broncos Lead and support the work that you're doing?
Just send me an email. I set up a meeting with all employers before we partner with them. And they can reach out to me. My email address is Andrea, Andrea, .page, PAGE, at WMICH, WMICH.edu. Andrea Page at WMICH. Andrea.page at WMICH.edu. You can send me an email. And one of the reasons that I meet with every single employer is because we pay the wages. It's very important for them to know this is not free labor. It needs to be an experiential opportunity for our WMU students.
That's good. I remember what my question was. So how do you balance all your responsibilities that you have?
Prioritize. Just prioritize. And then remember what I said about my job. It's just what you do. It's just who I am. Like I can't, ministry is the work of the Lord. And my husband and I are very involved in ministry, and the Lord just gives you the grace to do, and he anoints you to do what he has called you to do. And then work-wise, I feel that that's also a form of ministry. And I love what I'm doing, and I just go and I do it, and I get excited, and I am an extrovert. And so when I have to meet other employers and recruit, that means going to different community events. And so being an extrovert, most people think an extrovert and an introvert is someone that don't like being around people. An extrovert likes being around people, but really an extrovert is someone that recharges by being around people. An introvert is someone who recharges by spending time alone. It doesn't mean they don't like being around people, but then they need to decompress recharge. For me, I could feel so tired and wore down, and then a lot of people come around and I'm like, all right, let's go, and I get recharged. And so my job is so much of my personality and my strengths from Clifton Strengths, that it's just easy for me to flow in it.
That's good, because I'm an introvert. I recharge when I get some alone time.
Yeah.
What do you do in those times where you don't get a chance to recharge?
I mean, I do need some time now. I do need some time. But when I have to just not be around people, I don't know. My work-wise, I send out emails. So I start thinking of different employers or community partners that, oh, you know what, I'm going to reach out and let them know about Broncos Lead. So I'm always reaching out. I'm always, oh, look at this event is coming. There's always something going on. So I'm going to go to that. I'm going to RSVP and go to that. I'm going to register and go to that. So it never stops. And then if I don't want to, if I need that time, then I just don't do it. And, yeah.
Okay. That was for me. That wasn't.
I would have answered different if I would. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us? I say us because he'll get on the microphone too if he has to.
I just think this has just been such an honor for you to have me down here, for you to ask me questions, and for you to bring awareness to the Broncos Lead Paid Internship Program. It's so not about me, so I just am very grateful that you have allowed this platform to highlight the Broncos Lead Paid Internship Program. Yeah. And thank you. And us being class of 2024.
Best class ever.
Cohort, anything you need, I'm there for you. So,
okay.
I've
already seen you at a few different things, so
yeah.
I know that. Appreciate you being here. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing, for Broncos Lead and what you do outside of work too. So thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you again.
Yep.